All right, what's going on, guys? Today, I want to talk about a couple things, that have been going on recently. I've been motel hopping, and it's not bad for the most part. I've basically just been sitting in front of the TV, bored, just constantly, all the time. I mean, I've had very bad apathy for years now, like very bad, like anhedonia for years now. I know the cause of it, which I'll get into later, but I've just been laying in this bed. I've been taking a lot of time off, and yeah, I don't know. I've just been very bored, and I haven't really been taking care of myself as I should over the past year. And I don't want to say, but like, shit, man, maybe in the next 3 to 4 months, if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm gonna be probably 300 pounds easily, because my coping skills are terrible. I just eat shit all day. And as a result, I don't know if you know this, but I have to take blood pressure medication at 24 years old. I mean, how fucking embarrassing is that shit? I mean, I've always had high blood pressure and hypertension. That kind of started in high school. I think because, my body was always in constant fight or flight because of just severe bullying and, shit like that. Like it would always range from like in my teen years from like the 130s to 40s to over like maybe 90 to 100. I mean, it's not bad, but, man, I gotta lose weight, for sure, because, even if I walk up a staircase, I'm just like, like fucking when, SpongeBob and Patrick were like trapped in fucking Sandy's house, like I seriously, like my cardio is just terrible. And I used to have good cardio as a kid, and it sucks. It really does suck. But I will say this, I got some news that, my father's not doing good. He did have a heart attack. And I don't know, what it is as well. Like I remember, like from my family history, heart disease and heart attacks are pretty like relatively common, high blood pressure, everything like that. And my dad, he's 70 years old now. So, and he doesn't really treat his body right either. He drinks a lot, and I don't know how I feel about it, because I just found out, and, from my cousin, and I don't know. I never had a real good relationship with my father at all. The only real memories I have of him are just, and I'm not even kidding, him either threatening people, embarrassing me to death, just being overall rude. He was never really home much either before my parents got divorced, and I don't know. I always really wanted a relationship with my father, and I don't know how to feel. I really don't kind of want to talk about it because I don't know what to think. I really don't. And, I even one of my like earliest memories of him was, him driving me. I was in elementary school, and he was completely fucking hammered, and he drove me to, they had this after school, bingo night. And he was fucking wasted, just something out of like Randy Marsh and like South Park, embarrassing Stan. He would always do that, making scenes out of like the littlest things, and I would always have to try and calm him down. Just getting the cops called and just flipping out over like just small things. And I remember, they had like this raffle where you had to like pick out a ticket, and they'd read off the ticket, and if you had the number, you'd get like a prize, whatever the prize was. He must have been seeing double or some shit, because he could have sworn that like this was the number. And he went up to the front. I remember we were in the cafeteria, and he just flipped out, made a scene. And to make it worse, guess what the prize was? It was like this. I remember it was like this fucking Barbie doll playset. It couldn't have been something cool, And he's just flipping out, screaming. And I remember going to school, the next day, and everyone kind of treated me different. Like the teachers, like it ruined my social life a little bit. Like the teachers were looking at me different and talking to me different. The kids were treating me different. It was just weird, it was just different. And, when I went to live with him for a few months in 2023, it was basically the same shit, except we're both grown adults. So, and this is the thing, I don't even know, because here's the thing with heart attacks, right? Who the fuck knows, you could get paralyzed from, the left side of your body's completely paralyzed. I remember growing up, this one kid on my basketball team, his mom was like, paralyzed in her left hand completely, and her speech centers were all fucked up. She couldn't talk at all because she had a heart attack. And like, you don't know what a heart attack's gonna do. I know he was in a coma for a bit, but I was thinking about, I don't even know if this is on the table of like being a caregiver or a caretaker, because I just have like this extreme guilt. There wasn't enough, like, I just wanted that, connection, that relationship. And I don't know, after, I made a community post about it, and, after just consideration, I think I'm just going to continue looking for an apartment, because, the reason I haven't is because I don't want to spend like $50 or whatever to just get denied. I'm just staying in motels now, and they kind of suck too. I mean, just, blaring the TV, just laying in bed, eating food, the bathtub is nasty. Like, I don't even want to step on the floor. It's like this brownish pink color. It's like really gross. And like the bed's really stiff. I don't know. I take sleeping pills because I have like really, really, really bad insomnia, and they just kind of fucking knock me out. I've always had bad insomnia. Just, I don't know, just because I would always stay up all night and just pace around and just think about the same shit over and over again. I didn't have a good childhood at all, and especially as of now, I'm just a very antisocial, paranoid person. I don't talk to anybody at all. I frankly don't want to. And it just seems like I'm in between just trying to find copes, and I'm just tired. I'm tired of like having this fight for normalcy. Like, you got to know like when to throw in the towel and be like, okay, this is like genuinely the best I can do. Like, you got to realize people telling you this generic advice, it's not going to work for people, like certain guys, because what you have to understand, okay, fuck, how do I explain this? Humans are social creatures, and basically our purpose here is to, reproduce, build a better society, meet people, make connections, create things, have family. And when you go through life, alone, and, you're getting rejected, and you're kind of forced to, have these bullshit copes, this, you replace this, sort of feeling of, love and all that shit with, escapism, basically. And it just doesn't fill the void, man. I'm telling you, it doesn't fill the void. That's why you see like all these dudes who, play video games. And that's the thing. Like, last time, actually it was pretty recently. Last time I played video games was, forgot about this, when I visited my cousin and I played a couple, and they're so fucking bad now. Like, every cope has its end, and I'm telling you, they get shorter and shorter. Like, doing stuff alone is really boring. It is really boring. I thought about going bowling, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just going to get bored after the first, like, 2-3 throws. Like, if I was with a group of people and shit, chilling, it would be better. You know what I mean? And it's so hard to get shit done, like, when you're by yourself, because I want to say this. When I was, I think I was, like, 21. I think I turned 21. Wheat Waffles, he rated me a 4 out of 10. And, like, at this point, still, obviously, like, all my friends were, like, off in their colleges. That we would hang, I was lucky enough to have a small friend group, which I'll sort of, like, get into, like, the dynamics of that in a bit. But, Wheat Waffles gives me a 4 out of 10, which, I mean, dude, like, I already knew what I needed to do. I've always struggled with my weight my whole life. I've gone from, like, really skinny to, obese, and it's hard to keep that, discipline when you're alone, because like when I got that rating, it was like, I don't know, it was like generic shit, like, oh, you need to lose weight, fix your acne, get the Wheat Waffles fade like me because we're both ginger. What else? Just like, I don't know, some shit. So I literally was like kind of, it gave me like a sliver of hope a little bit. I guess I just needed to hear it from someone else. And, because I knew what I needed to do at the time, and it still didn't do anything. I still was, still a fucking virgin, still had the same friend group that didn't give a fuck about me. Nothing changed. But I spent 6 months just miserable every day, just really mad, just trying to force myself to do all of this like stupid shit, because it's very easy to like indulge in dopamine when you're alone, because it's like, yeah, you have no support system. And I always talk about that, but I think it's very funny because I remember in the past I had always wanted to do a 7-day water fast. Like I always wanted to do it, and I could never get past like a certain day until I called up my one friend at the time. I used to call him my wingman, even though he was a shitty wingman. But I remember calling him up. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to do a 7-day water fast with me? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay, we'll check in on each other. We'll go to the gym. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do this. I finally have someone, behind my fucking back to do something with. And that was the first time I pulled it off. You know what I mean? And yeah, that what I was going to say. So yeah, every time, you go through this very bizarre, like sort of self-improvement hamster wheel where you're, working on yourself constantly. I would do this thing where I would go on like a hiatus and just not talk to anyone, because it didn't even, my old friend group, they would be doing their own shit anyway. We would never really hang out that much besides, I don't know, once a month if I was lucky, or once or twice a month. The summertime was usually a little different, but I just remember like finally like thinking I like looked a little better and going out there, only to get just slammed, man. Just completely slammed. And I think the biggest eye opener for me was, over the spring and summertime of last year, like right before I left New York City, the clubbing saga. That was the biggest eye opener of just, people gaslighting you, just telling you gotta try hard enough. You're not trying hard enough. It's all your fault. You're not trying hard enough. Because, my wingman, that kid, you want to know the funny part? I remember the first party I went to, because, all my friends went off to like universities. I stayed in my hometown, like this fucking loser, not knowing, just directionless, having no one to really talk to. And I remember him inviting me to his fraternity, and he's like, bro, like the reason, like the predicament you're in is because you don't work hard and try, bro. He's like, I want you to talk to girls tonight. He's like, bro, trust me, like I got you here. He's like, it's really hard to bring people, like you here, because like how it works is, because I've been, I don't know, like a couple of his, but like basically for like random people, you have to, if you're a male and you walk up to a fraternity, you have to like pay a ridiculous amount of money. If you're a female, you get in for free. I mean, yeah. But, he got me in there, and this is the whole irony, hilarious, hysterical part that I find very comical. As he's telling me this, he's like, bro, work hard at this shit, bro. He's like, you gotta work hard, bro. You gotta want it, bro. You gotta really want it and work hard. And that was the night that this motherfucker met his future wife, 5 years later, right? This was like, what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? And because I watched him make out with her, that's the funny thing. And I'm just kind of standing there awkwardly, trying to talk to girls. And that's how my clubbing experience was. I had this friend that I would go clubbing with. He wasn't a bad dude, but he was like very corny. He couldn't understand like, the predicament I'm in at all. He did male modeling unironically, and very low inhibition. Like he was on like some anxiety medications and shit, and he would drink, and he would just say whatever the fuck to women. And sometimes, he would get hit with like the faces of disgust a few times, and he'd always get like so insecure about it, like very insecure. He'd be like, oh, whatever, fuck you then. I can get any girl I want. And I'd be like, well, I guess not those ones. But he would always get like so insecure if he got rejected, or if a girl like looked down on him or some shit, and this guy even had sex with I've talked about this before, some Puerto Rican mom with a son our age, sitting in his room, probably watching Rehab Room, and it's, yeah, hooking up with all sorts of fucking people. Like, I don't even, and he just really desperately wanted me to, get a girl for those few months. And I remember it was like the springtime. He set up like this high school reunion thing with some girls we went to high school with. And I'll never forget this shit. I was talking to one of them. We were both like drinking a little bit, and we were talking for a long time, a long time. And I was like, wow, this is, because we had common interests and shit. We grew up together. We knew all the teachers and stuff like that. And this boomer, is sitting next to her. She's in the middle. I'm on the left. Boomer's, all the way on the right. And she starts talking to him for like a couple minutes. I'm just kind of like drinking my drink. And the boomer asks me, he pokes his head over, and he asked me, he's like, oh, are you guys together? And she goes, ew, hell no. Him? No, he's just a friend. And I don't think she realized like how much that actually fucking hurt me hearing that, because I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, cool, dude, I'm going to ask her for a number after this shit, because I thought it was going good. And to hear her say, oh, hell no, it fucking hurt. Now imagine doing that. Like, imagine people telling you, don't give up, bro. Don't give up. Keep trying. Imagine that experience and having a friend say, bro, let's go clubbing. Especially when I started living in my car, he's like, now, bro, clubbing time. I'd be like, fuck, because I didn't want to do it. And because he tried so hard, man. He really tried so fucking hard. He would bring over like random women, and he'd be like, hey, this is my friend. And they'd be covering their mouth, like trying not to fucking laugh or like not even make eye contact. And you could just fucking feel it. Like, you just know, you're like, yeah, they're like completely disgusted by me. Why would I even try? Why would I even like talk to them? Even when I did, they would just walk away after like a few sentences. And it's just so humiliating. It's like, and it's every time I did this, it's like, it's like you're touching a fucking burning stove. Why are you torturing yourself? And I used to get angrier and angrier and angrier, as the fucking days, as the clubbing nights would go on, as we would do this shit, because it drives you insane doing the same shit. Oh, don't give up. Oh, you just gave up. You're a loser. No, you're just protecting your fucking sanity, dude. Like, you just don't know how deep the rabbit hole goes when you're constantly being like humiliated like that, these like constant humiliation rituals. And I had to tell him, I'm like, dude, listen, can't do this anymore. I'm just going to drink myself into a coma and talk to the divorced boomers at the bar. And that was the highlight of that, because like that actually made it so much better. It was like so funny. Like, I would tell these drunk boomers, the ones with the baseball caps, I'd be like, you should go to Turkey. They would take their hat off, and I'd be like, yeah, you gotta, guys, it was fucking comedy gold for me. And they just were like, yeah, I know. And they'd be like, oh, my fucking wife cheated on me and left me. I'm at the fucking bar all day. The life of a newfie doofy. Like, I'd do that 10 times over, man. Like, at this day and age, like, because my friend eventually did, if you already know, like, the whole Fiona shit, he finally found a girl for me that, it's a pretty recent video. She abused her dog. She wasn't, wife material, girlfriend material at all. We weren't attracted to each other or intimate. I wouldn't even call it a relationship. Bad hygiene, no car, no job, smoked weed all day. Just not a good situation. And that kind of made me think too. I'm like, even if I did get into like an actual relationship with someone who I am attracted to, who's to say they're attracted to me? And, if I'm like a beta buck, because that's the thing, I was beta buxing for Fiona too. But it's just, you understand deep down, it's a very, very transactional interaction, So, this fight for normalcy and having a normal life when, people kind of coast through shit, I noticed. Not everybody, of course, because, genetics and nature and all that shit. Some people are just born to succeed and just reproduce and just all that shit. It's just like inevitable, like especially my wingman, motherfucker, like I said, meets a chick, makes out with her. I'm watching him, 5 years later, they're fucking living together. He had rich parents. His dad was a fucking neurosurgeon, for fuck's sake, and his mom was like some prestigious nurse. He found like a career that he wanted to do, that he was interested in. and he moved on with his life. It just kind of, he was like the most mentally stable friend I think I've ever had in my life. Seriously, But that's the thing, this whole big break and shit, like, I think it really, first off, like, before I talk about the big break, what I want to say is, I think over the past years, why I feel so, like, alone and lost, it's like, yeah, when you're watching, like, your peers and, friends and stuff, like, old friends, like, kind of move on, they don't talk to you as much because they got girlfriends, they have stuff that they want to do, they have family, it's just, you're watching your life just stay the same. It kind of sucks, Of course, people are going to be like, oh, why don't you just meet new people and get new friends? Let me let you in on, like, a little secret, I mean, for me now, I have no friends and nobody I know where I live now. I know nobody. I don't talk to anybody. I'm severely I don't even want to, except for this fucking, dude I work with who, what the fuck did he say to me the other day? Was like, he's like, oh, buddy, did you hear about that one TikTok star that, he got arrested for impersonating a Target employee? I'm like, no. He's like, oh. Like, I don't even know how to talk to the average person. Like, I'm very curious about a lot of stuff. I don't know. I like talking about, like, deep shit. I notice people just have, like, this very, like, they care too much about drama, like, oh, TikTok drama, YouTube drama. I don't care about none of that shit. I don't even really use the internet. All I do is just I'll just, like, watch documentaries and TV, and that's it, man. Like, I really just don't care that much. And talking to the average person, like, this fucking guy, man, he'll be on his fucking phone, like, with the volume on. I'll be driving, defeated, my back is fucking killing me, and just staring at the road, and this guy, I'll just hear every 5 seconds, like, some AI robot TikTok voice, like, did you know that too? And then he doesn't even fucking finish them too. He'll fucking scroll, he'll see one for 2 seconds. Like, what is your attention span? And I'll just hear that all day, him just scroll, did you know? And, like, I bet, like, if you're getting your news from a AI robot and some normie zoomer on TikTok, you're fucked, pretty much. I mean, Jesus Christ, go read a book. I'm not even joking. Like, that's not even, like, a fucking meme at all. At least it's, like, real people, not, like, a fucking generated robot lying to your fucking face or some 19-year-old zoomer who just fucking found his information from, other fucking misinformation. It's just, I don't know. I can't stand, like, short videos, But, yeah, I'm just alone, and this dude's, like, the only dude I talk to, and when you don't have an already established friend group, and that was the problem with mine, we were all kind of very mature, and when we all split, they would come back, obviously, to, my hometown to hang out with me, but I think it's because they really felt bad for me, and I never felt respect, They would always, like, kind of, I don't know, they would always belittle me and shit like that, and I just never felt respect at all from most of them, and as a result, my friend group never expanded, because having no friends and trying to get friends, it's like trying to start a business with no money, like $0. Like, you're gonna, like, you always hear those entrepreneurs like, oh, well, I had $500,000 and I invested it in this, and that made me more profit, so I invested that profit in this and that profit in this. But when you're broke, you can't do that, man. It's very hard to do that. It's the same with, like, friend groups. Like, let's say you're trying to barge your way into an already established friend group from, like, high school. They already have, like, common knowledge of, like, stuff they went through together and things like that. So you'll be like this background character just kind of sitting there listening, just very lost, Friendships are really weird, man, when you get older. And I kind of don't, male friendships are kind of pointless as it is. I've had so many friends, like, just be completely pee-whipped and just ignore me once they get a girlfriend. They'll be like, oh, see you, bud. Oh, I'm with my girlfriend. I'd be texting them every week, like, hey, you want to hang out this week, next week, other week? Can't, with my girlfriend. Guys do this all the time, man. They do it all the fucking time. It's the most annoying shit ever. All the time. If you have a friend that gets a girlfriend, just write them a goodbye letter. Or make the letter say, when you break up, I guess we're going to be friends again. Because that shit happens too. Every time, like, I have, like, a normie friend, like, break up with their fucking girlfriend, they come crawling back to me like, oh, bro, I'm bored. Let's hang out, bro. I missed you, bro. Yeah, sure you fucking did, bro. But, yeah, you know. So a conclusive thought, you know, the big break I always thought about, you know, of what would truly make me happy, you know, what would truly like be this big break of I'm finally satisfied. And the answer is I don't think there's anything that could ever make me happy or change anything. You know, when you go through this much trauma and, you know, you're just constantly in your head, you can't sleep, you're pacing around all day, every day, just thinking about the same shit, just having people walk all over you all the time. It's, you know, if I were to swap lives with someone who's very high status, you know, wealthy, who had a very sort of, you know, coastal life where they haven't really been through a lot, you know, not a lot of trauma, it wouldn't make me happy. You know, if I won the lottery, wouldn't make me happy. And it's funny because, you know, with these guys, you know, who are conventionally attractive and have minimal trauma, very structured support system, these guys don't really know, like, how deep the rabbit hole goes, obviously, but if they were to swap lives with me, they would get defeated in an instant. You know, that spark that they'd have, like, this sudden realization of, like, oh my God, you know, life isn't the same for everybody, you know? But yeah, if I were to switch lives with these guys, nothing would really change, you know, mentally. Like, the damage is done, to say. You know, even if I was a billionaire, let's say, yeah, I did win the lottery, sure, I'd be happy for like 2 seconds. I'd be like, oh, cool. But what am I going to do? I'm going to just beta bucks for people who don't appreciate me, it's like a very transactional, conditional relationship. Like, it's so fake. It reminds me of those, I should make a video on this, but that one dude, I don't remember his name. It was this Asian guy. He sim swapped some like crypto millionaire, bought all these women purses, you know, bought a bunch of shit, champagne, woo, only to still be a virgin and have like all these women just not, because the attraction's not there. Guys, we're a fucking species of animal. We're not like this, I don't know, like what the fuck Disney tells us, you know, and that's even like with my first quote unquote relationship, you know, that shit crack relationship. Like, I always expected as a kid this Disney, like, oh my God, I love you. Oh my God. Like, you know, you meet somebody at a fucking party. Oh, cool. Like, you know, my fucking wingman did. It's not like that for, you know, conventionally unattractive guys. Now, you know, I wonder if people who do look like me, you know, because I mean, fuck, at this point, you know, my legs are all swollen. I don't know why. I got like this big fucking hump on my back. I think it's from like weight gain. You know, I'm in pain and shit. My hairline's really fucked. I haven't given myself a buzz cut in like 3 months, and I'm noticing the front doesn't even grow past like a millimeter anymore. I don't know. I got to get more blood work done and shit. I just don't believe it's hair loss. I think it has something to do with vitamin deficiency, because it's just my hair's always been thin. It's just I don't know, man. Maybe I'm in denial, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I just wonder if guys who are like me, just if they really truly get it one day, or if they're like kind of like self-aware enough. Because once you're this self-aware, like if I won $1 billion, I would actually maybe I would be more sad, because yeah, you know every interaction is transactional. Yeah. And these people don't love you and shit, you know. Rough, man. So, yeah, I don't know. I've just been thinking about my dad and shit. It's just, I don't know. I'm going to end the video here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So, yeah.